Now, talking about skepticism, it is simply doubt, doubt of knowledge. Okay, so uh, got it from the Greek word skepticals. Okay, which means doubt. Okay, so skepticism is more like a I don't know what should I call it, a field or an area. Not It's not a branch of philosophy. Okay, so it's an area that okay, we can say it is a branch of epistemology. Okay, now skepticism is concerned about the fact that we cannot know anything or we cannot make claims of what knowledge is. Okay, so when people say that I know, skepticism brings us doubt. How can you say that you know? What is the justification? It is not possible for us to know anything, okay? But it is not too extreme, okay? Because there are two types of skepticism, okay? So, but skepticism is more like a challenge to philosophers, okay? And when I say a challenge to philosophers, when you write philosophical works and you know that this work is going to be scrutinized, it helps you to do what, to do your best, okay? Because there has not been any philosophical work that has not been provided, that there has not been counter positions to this work. Descartes was criticized for his mind body problem, you know. Aristotle criticized Plato idealism, you know. So till today, even in epistemology now, JTB is now criticized by the work of Edmund Gettier. Okay, so this is what skepticism helps us do. It helps us erase dogmatism in philosophy, and that is a background knowledge of what skepticism is. Now, there are two types of skepticism, that is moderate and absolute skepticism. And we should know that skepticism started from the sophists. Okay, so now the moderate skepticism is the point that it's not as if we cannot know anything, but anything we can know is subjective to us. Okay, we cannot make claim of something that is known universally or generally. We can only know ourselves. Okay, so if you are making any claim, it is your own personal claim. It is not a claim that can be attributed as a general claim. Okay, so to moderate skepticism, knowledge is subjective. Okay, so you can only know about what is doing you. You cannot know about what is doing other people. You cannot make claims about other society. You cannot make claims about other cultures. Do you get it now? uh Protagoras is a moderate skeptic. Okay, now to the next type of skepticism is absolute skepticism, and this holds that we cannot know anything at all, even from ourselves. Oh, that is our subjective sense. Oh, to the external sense, we cannot make claim of anything. It is not possible for us to make claim of anything. That is absolute skepticism. That is, it is an extreme form of skepticism. We cannot make claim of any form of knowledge. Okay, that is what absolute skepticism is all about. Okay, now there have been criticisms of skepticism. Okay, there have been criticism of the idea of skepticism, and I'm going to be giving two now. The first one is the polar concept. Now, the polar argument was that for everything there's always an opposite. Okay, for the word go, for every term there's always an opposite. Now listen, for the word go, the opposite is come. For the word up, the opposite is down. Okay, so now if you say knowledge is a term, okay, and the skeptics are saying that we cannot know anything as knowledge, that means that is ignorance. Okay, so the opposite for the skeptics to say that ignorance, to hold ignorance as I, okay, that is we cannot know anything, that means there must be an opposite of ignorance, and that is what knowledge. Okay, so through the polar arguments, we have been able to confirm that ignorance has an opposite, which is knowledge. Okay, so knowledge exists. Okay, so that is a criticism of skepticism. Now, the next one is pragmatism, and pragmatism holds that for every word that we have now, there must have been an instance where it is practiced for us to be able to come up with that word. Now, let me give you an example. The white men do not have a word for gari. Forget these groceries that you are saying. There's no word for gari. Why? Because there has not been an experience where they plant cassava and make gari. So among the Europeans, so they cannot simply have a word for gari. Okay, and same with Africa, Nigeria. There's no Yoruba word for cake in the Yoruba language. Okay, and that's why they don't have a Yoruba name for what, for cake. Okay, so because there has not been it's right from our origin, there has not been anything like cake to us. Okay, so if there is a term, there must have been a situation where that it is practiced for us to call it that word. Okay, so for example, if there have not been anything like cup, somebody using something to drink water, we cannot have the word cup. Okay, so this thing goes with knowledge. If there have not been anywhere somebody has exhibited knowledge, we cannot have the word knowledge. Okay, so therefore knowledge exists. Okay, so that is the argument against skepticism. So with this, we come to an end of our short and tutorials on epistemology. Please don't forget to subscribe and stay updated.